Okay, good morning everybody. It's April 21st. I hope everybody had a happy Easter, and I'm welcoming all of you to the April 2025 version of the Mayor's Monthly Video. Doing it from a little bit different venue this day. We're in my office here at City Hall. I'm kind of dressed up. I've got something I got to go to. I'll talk about that here in just a minute. So why don't we just get right into this thing, and looking at the agenda here, or the overview. Going to talk about some little mayor stuff, what I've got going on, and I'll be doing over the next month or so. Some upcoming city events that hopefully everybody's interested in. Want to give you an update on some facility and public works projects that we've had going on for quite some time, some of them anyway. And then wrap up with a little update on some city business. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about, so why don't we get right into it. All right, so mayor stuff. Later on this morning after this, I've got a meeting with Congressman Gary Palmer. He does a Washington update periodically. This one is sponsored by the Shelby County Chamber. With our chamber membership, the city has a table reserved at this event, and so we've got some folks from the city of Columbiana, city council, myself, etc., to be attending that event. It's always good to hear from Congressman Palmer. He does a good job of keeping everybody up to speed about what's going on, and surely there has been a great deal going on in Washington over the last 100 days, so it'd be nice to hear his perspective about what's going on there. So tomorrow, with a lunch with Congressman Palmer again, and that's a quarterly mayor's luncheon with the congressman. He has these things once a quarter with all of the mayors in his district. This one's a little bit better for the mayors because it's a smaller venue, not as many people there. We get to actually interact with Congressman Palmer, lots of direct one-on-one questions and getting the feedback directly about what's on our mind and what's going on in Washington that can be helpful to us as mayors of municipalities in his district. And then on May the 1st, I'll be attending again, I've done this a few times, the Greater Birmingham Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. And that will be at the Harbert Center in Birmingham, and the night before there is a regional leadership dinner, and it'll be attended by regional religious leaders, church leaders, and government officials, mayors mostly, and city council members, and things of that nature. So again, that's always a nice event, and I'm looking forward to that. So that's the mayor stuff. We'll get into some upcoming events. We got the Miss Liberty Day pageant later this month, April 26th. That'll be at the Grand Hall. And that's for kids literally from kindergarten to high school, so tots to teens, so to speak. And so that's always a fun event. And for those folks who are interested in seeing it, I like to joke and say that Columbiana has become the motion picture capital of Alabama. We had filming at Elvin Hill Elementary School a little over a year ago with Matthew McConaughey with an upcoming movie that'll be coming out very soon. It was premiered last month at the South by Southwest Film Festival. It should be out in theaters, I guess, or maybe it'll be out online, who knows. But anyway, that was filmed here in Columbiana. And then on Sunday, Hallmark's going to film a movie here in Columbiana, or portions of it. It's called Soft Serve Romance, okay? So it sounds like it's something from an ice cream shop, like maybe a Dairy Queen or something. But anyway, Soft Serve Romance, and you can come out and watch that on Main Street, I suppose. I'm sure they'll have areas cordoned off so that we can keep people out of the way. Okay, starting in June, we'll have the Sunset Market on Main, which is the farmers market, and the music on Main. The dates are June 6, 13, and 20, and July 11 and 18. On June 27th, we'll also have a Music on Main event, which is the concert that kicks off on Main Street prior to Liberty Day, and Liberty Day will be on Saturday, the 28th of June. We'll talk a lot more about Liberty Day in upcoming Mayor's Monthly videos so we can keep people informed. I think some people have already seen, I think it's been on Facebook, the headliner for the concert at the football field on the night of Liberty Day when we have the fireworks afterwards is Easton Corbin. He's had #1 hits on the country charts in the past. I think his most famous is a song called I'm a Little More Country Than That. So we'll get some more information out on what's going on as far as Liberty Day in the coming months. Okay, recreation and public works projects. We just completed a relighting of the baseball fields at the Columbiana Sports Complex. That was predominantly funded from a community development block grant. That's a federal grant. We participate in the Urban County program, so Shelby County actually administers or delivers those grants for the community development block grant. But again, most of that was funded by that. Taking down the old lighting, which was difficult to maintain and not very energy efficient, replacing it with LED lighting. We did that a couple of years back, also funded by a grant at the girls softball fields, Bolton and Lewis fields. And there's been some people who've seen the lighting right after it was installed and complaining already that it wasn't bright enough or as bright as the old ones. But the project wasn't completed. There was one light fixture that didn't work properly. The lights have to be properly aimed, and so the contractor, once that's all done and that light fixture has been replaced, the contractor will come out, make sure that the lights are properly aimed so we don't have any dark spots or blind spots. One thing about the LED lighting, it is more focused than the other lighting, so it doesn't it'll light the ball fields much better than the old lighting, but it doesn't necessarily diffuse that light to the surrounding area. So if you're sitting in the stands, it may appear or seem to be a little bit darker than in the past. The other thing is a public works project where the goal is for a new public works facility on McDowell Road, or has been for quite some time, and it would replace the old storage warehouse across from the Old Mill Square behind Main Street. It will replace the building across from the Senior Center and City Hall, and then also this storage lot which behind City Hall, which is a little bit unsightly at times. Move all that stuff out onto McDowell Road. And we started this, it's taken a long time, in 2021 by acquiring an old warehouse from Greedy, and you can see on the photograph on this chart, it was in really terrible shape, so we were able to purchase that warehouse for a song and a prayer. And so then we had some engineers come take a look at, give us an assessment of what it would cost for us to refurbish that facility and build a new facility. Our goal was, or our hope was, that we could just take that existing structure, the structural steel and the foundation, reskin the building, so to speak, to make it more cost effective. But the engineers said, no, it's not worth it, tear it down. And they came up with an estimate that was over $2 million, despite everything that we told them that we don't have a lot of money, we can't spend that kind. That's what they came up with. And so I have the artist's rendering, if you will, from the engineers. That's what they came up with. And we said, okay, we're going to try to do this ourselves. So to save money, we were doing a lot of self-help work. We said, hey, we can peel all that skin off and the roof off. And that turned out to be a bigger job than we realized, and we weren't able to complete all of that. So we ended up having to get a contractor to come out and rip the skin off the old building. We wanted to reuse some of the roll-up doors that was on there, but only one of those roll-up doors was reusable. We had to do some foundation repair work. But we are almost there. We are substantially complete, and you can see from the lower pictures down here, you can see the reskinned building, you can see the paved parking lot. You can see from the rear view, which is the bottom left corner of this chart, we got two new roll-up doors over there. And the roll-up door on the far left of that rear view is white. It's not tan like those others are, and that's one of the doors that we were able to reuse, if you will. So we're really excited about that. We're out trying to solicit a quote from an electrical contractor, and once we get electricity in there and lighting, we will start transferring things out of the old warehouse across from the Old Mill Square and behind Main Street, and moving it in there. Along with that building came some warehouse storage racks, so we'll install those. And then once we get the warehouse emptied out, we'll start on the office building and storage building adjacent to the senior center, and hopefully very quickly over the next several months get completely moved in. We will need to fence this place in. We're going to try to do that ourselves, or we're going to look into that as opposed to contracting out, see if it's cost effective to do that. And put some security lighting on the outside and security system and things like that. But we're getting close. Again, like I said, we tried to do a lot of that self-help, and we're still going to do some self-help work. For example, the office space on the inside, we'll be doing that ourselves as much as we can, as opposed to contracting it out. So good deal there. That was funded primarily in 2021. We also refunded the city's debt. We were able to take some cash out as a result of that refunding process without increasing our debt service payments or without increasing the term of the bonds that we had issued. But because of lower interest rates, we were able to pull some cash out of that. And so this public works facility is largely being funded by that. So that was a good deal for us. Okay, city business. At the last council meeting, we did a first reading of a food truck ordinance. Council meeting before that, there was some concerns expressed about a food truck on Main Street one night, and so we looked at some of those concerns, and we realized a couple of things. Number one, the food truck wasn't in compliance with the city ordinance. But the city is not even in compliance with the city's food truck ordinance. There are things in there that we just never did. For example, the ordinance put the onus on the city council to determine where food trucks could park. And the only place that the city council had determined they could park is in the overflow courthouse parking lot. Yet, and of course that makes exceptions for events like Liberty Day and Cowboy Day, but yet we had food trucks parking in other locations anyway, and the city hadn't done anything about that. That ordinance also said, in addition to a business license, that the food trucks had to have a permit every year, and we weren't collecting or issuing those permits or collecting any of the fees for that. So we redid the ordinance, basically the draft that we read, the first reading at the last council meeting, and said, okay, if business and property owners say it's okay to park a food truck, then you can park a food truck there. There's some exceptions. It can't be in a residential area. It can only be in a business district. Can't be on a public right-of-way. And we did away with the permitting fee and just stuck with the business license. So I think it's actually going to be a much better deal. But we did a first reading, so if any of you have any issues or concerns, contact your council member. We'll do the second reading and determine whether or not we're going to vote on this ordinance at the next council meeting, which will be the first one in May. We also passed a resolution because at that same council meeting prior, where the food truck issue was brought up, some concern was brought up about the intersection of College Street and Main Street. And so the city passed a resolution to make that intersection no right turns on red. The reason that was done is the problem is because of the proximity of the buildings to the corner. You cannot see to make a right-hand turn unless you pull through the pedestrian crosswalks in order to be able to get forward far enough to be able to see to your left, whether or not it's clear to make a right turn on red. So that was considered a safety issue. The city has an ordinance which is in compliance with state law. The state basically says throughout Alabama, you can turn right on red unless there's a sign designating that you can't. And the city has an ordinance adopted many years ago that says the same thing. No right on red, and you can turn right on red unless there's a sign prohibiting it. So we'll put a sign up saying no right on red, and the police will enforce that, but there'll be sort of a grace period. You know, if people turn right on red because they've done it for years and it's been their habit, the police will just say, hey, notice the signs there, don't turn right on red. If it creates a traffic issue, which I don't think it will, but if it does, and there's been some concerns expressed about that, the city council, because it's not an ordinance and it's just a resolution, we can easily change that by simply taking the signs down and passing another resolution to do that. So that's the city business that I think many of you would be interested in. Again, if you have any issues and concerns about either of those things, contact your city council member. Their contact information is on the city website. And oh, by the way, the ordinance I mentioned at the last city council meeting will be posted on the website. It's not there yet. I'm going to try to get the ordinance on there today or within the next day or so, so you'll have an opportunity to look that ordinance over to see if you have any issues and concerns that you might want to talk to your council member about. So that's it for April. Once again, I hope everybody had a blessed Easter. I know that we did, and I look forward to talking to you again in May.